So last we were here, we were talking about good old Mr. Lindbergh. As you know, he had possession of the golden chancla, and they gave him the courage to be a trailblazer and fly across the Atlantic Ocean. But what you don't know is that by the time he was flying over Paris, a gust of wind picked up and the chancla fell from the sky, ultimately landing in front of Tamara de Lempica. Tamara de Lempica was born Maria Gorska in the turn of the century Poland. After her mother and father divorced, her wealthy grandmother spoiled her with clothes and travel. By age 14, she was attending school in Switzerland. Soon after Russia and Germany declared war in 1914, she fell in love with the most handsome bachelor in Warsaw, a lawyer named Tadeusz Lempicki. She set her sights on him, and 2 years later they were married at age 16. A year later, Tadeusz was arrested by the Bolsheviks, and Tamara braved the Russian Revolution to free him, using her good looks to charm favors from the unnecessary officials. The couple fled to Paris, and that's where the story of Tamara de Lempica's fantastic life really begins. Now known as Tamara de Lempica, the refugee studied art and worked day and night. She had a vision of success. She became a well-known portrait painter with a distinctive Art Deco manner. Quintessentially French, Deco was a part of an exotic and sexy, glamorous Paris that epitomized Tamara's living and painting style. Between the wars, she painted portraits of writers, entertainers, artists, scientists, industrialists, and many of Eastern Europe's exiled nobility. Her daughter, Cassette de Lempica Foxhall, wrote in her biography of Tamara de Lempica's passion by design. She painted them all: the rich, the successful, the renowned, the best. Her career peaked around 1935, but her marriage suffered, and following divorce, she remarried the Hungarian Baron Kuffner, undertaking mainly portraits and nudes. She did so at the expense of any still lives, city views, or abstract compositions. From 1935, her paintings evolved into a much more decorative and loose format, evoking a more normal tension and yet cool erotic appeal. At the threat of a Second World War, she left Paris for America. She went to Hollywood to become the favorite artist of the Hollywood stars. She and her second husband, Baron Raoul Kuffner, one of her earliest and wealthiest patrons, moved into American film director King Vidor's former house in Beverly Hills. In 1978, she moved to Mexico permanently. She died in her sleep on March 18, 1980, with her daughter Cassette at her side. Her wish to be cremated and have her ashes spread on the top of the volcano Popocatépetl was carried out. De Lempica succeeded because she was able to visualize a future where success was inevitable. Not only did she dream, she did. Ultimately, that is what the chancla can do: give you the power to execute your goals. But in her prime, she visited the United States for an art exhibition. And this is where our journey of the Golden Chocolate takes a sour spin. You see, this is when Bonnie and Clyde come to play.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
How can I help you?
Do you have anything I can keep this safe in?
I have just a thing. This way, madam. Number 23.
Thank you. Are you sure you can keep that safe?
It's a state-of-the-art technology.
Clyde, our investor in the East, wants gold again. Focus! Clyde!
Okay.
Okay. Are you not gonna ask me how we're going to do that?
All right. How are we? How are we gonna do that?
Like we always do, Clyde. We sneak into a vault and get the money / gold.
How are we gonna do that?
I know who the banker is. So we're gonna take his keys, I'm I'm gonna walk up to him, I'm gonna befriend him, maybe a little more friendly than usual, and I will deliver. I will get the keys, and therefore we will be able to have access into the vault. Do you understand? Hi there. You mind if I sit here? All right, thank you. So how are you doing today?
It's crazy weather. It's really windy.
It's really nice though.
It is.
I like your jacket.
Thank you.
Oh, why thank you. So, what are you doing today?
I got work in a little bit.
Where do you work?
I'm a baker.
Very impressive.
Oh, thank you.
So you're enjoying your day off?
Oh, very much.
Very good.
Oh, look, you dropped something.
I did. Do you mind getting that for me?
Here you go.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you.
You're welcome.
Well, anyways, I have to get a cup of coffee myself, so I have to run now.
Okay.
It was great meeting you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Here. Be careful. Okay, let's go. You go first. That's the wrong one. Come on. Oh my God, that's close it. You're such a child. Such a child.
When Clyde met Bonnie Parker in January 1930, he was 21 and single. Soon after their meeting, he was sent to jail for burglary, and Bonnie smuggled him a gun and aided his escape. Upon his recapture, he was jailed for 2 years. He was eventually paroled in February 1932 and reacquainted himself with Bonnie. Over a 2-year period during the height of the Great Depression, from 1932 to 1934, Bonnie and Clyde evolved from petty thieves to nationally known bank robbers and murderers. Their robbery of banks and store owners in a rural America ravaged by farm foreclosures and bankruptcies led to their exploits and relationship being romanticized by a bourgeoising yellow press. In reality, at the time of their death, their gang was believed responsible for at least 13 murders, including 2 policemen, several robberies and burglaries, and assorted kidnappings, abductions, and woundings. On May 23, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde were driving down a back road near their hideout at Bainville Parish, Louisiana. Unbeknownst to them, a posse of 4 Texas and 2 Louisiana officers, led by Ranger Captain Frank Hamer, were lying low, waiting. Within seconds, the Rangers opened fire, delivering more than 100 bullets into the notorious pair. You see, the chancla can also be abused. Just like Del and Pica, Bonnie and Clyde had a vision of success. But to them, success was robbing and murder. Fortunately, the mystical powers of the chancla find its way to set things right. When Bonnie and Clyde shipped the gold to their investor, the package was misplaced and ended to another great leader of the time period, Mary McLeod Bethune.
Oh look, what's this? It's a package. I wonder what's inside. Do I open it? It's a golden chancla.
Mary Jane Bethune was born on July 10, 1875 in Maysville, South Carolina. Mary Bethune was a leading educator and civil rights activist. She grew up in poverty as one of 17 children born to former slaves. Bethune became the one and only child in her family to go to school when a missionary opened a school nearby for African American children. Traveling miles each way, she walked to school each day and did her best to share her newfound knowledge with her family. Bethune later received a scholarship to the Scotia Seminary, now Barber Scotia College, a school for girls in Concord, North Carolina. After graduating from the seminary in 1893, she went to the Dwight Moody's Institute for Home and Foreign Missions, also known as Moody Bible Institute in Chicago. Bethune completed her studies there 2 years later. Returning to the South, she began her career as a teacher. For nearly a decade, Bethune worked as an educator. She married fellow teacher Albertus Bethune in 1898. The couple had one son together, Albert Bethune, before ending their marriage in 1907. She believed that education provided the key to racial advancement. To that end, Bethune founded the Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute for Negro Girls in Daytona, Florida in 1904. Starting out with only 5 students, she helped grow the school to more than 250 students over the next years. Bethune served as the school's president, and she remained its leader even after it was combined with the Cookman Institute for Men in 1923. The merged institution became known as the Bethune-Cookman College. The college was one of the few places that African American students could pursue a college degree. In addition to her work at the school, Bethune did much to contribute to American society at large. She served as the president of the Florida chapter of the National Association of Colored Women for many years. In 1924, Bethune became the organization's national leader, beating out fellow reformer Ida B. Wells for the top post. Bethune also became involved in government service, lending her expertise to several presidents. President Calvin Coolidge invited her to participate in a conference on child welfare. For President Herbert Hoover, she served on Commission on Home Building and Home Ownership and was appointed to a committee on child health. But her most significant roles in public service came from President Franklin D. Roosevelt. In 1935, Bethune became a special advisor to President Roosevelt on minority affairs. That same year, she also started up her own civil rights organization, the National Council of Negro Women. Bethune created this organization to represent numerous groups working on critical issues for African American women. She received another appointment from President Roosevelt the following year in 1936. She became the director of the Division of Negro Affairs of the National Youth Administration. One of her main concerns in this position was helping young people find job opportunities. In addition to her official role in the Roosevelt administration, Bethune became a trusted friend and advisor to both the president and his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. Once again, the Chancla brought out the best of this individual because although she grew up in poverty, she did not lose sight of her dreams and her goals. That vision was what helped her stay on track and defy these statistics. A passionate educator, she realized her dreams of having her own school. Although she reached that goal, she did not stop because there are always issues to tackle and ways to better the world. Remember, Aguilitas, vision is essential to success.